Guys, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So according to Amir King Khan, you know, this guy, he claims that Anthony Joshua is afraid and he fears, that's right, he fears Mr. Deontay Wilder, and that is why they haven't unified yet. That is why Wilder and that's why Wilder and Joshua have not unified yet, because Amir Khan claims that AJ fears him. I guess Amir Khan is confusing Anthony Joshua with himself, because the only one who has ever ducked anyone for several years and who feared a guy in his division was Amir Khan himself, because Amir Khan has been ducking Kell Brook since 2011. I mean, I could remember as far back as 2011 people begging to wanting to see Amir Khan versus Kell Brook, and all these years later, the fight never happened, not because of Kell Brook, but because of Amir Khan. It was Amir Khan's fault. So I'm assuming that he is confusing Anthony Joshua being afraid of someone with himself. We have to keep in mind that Amir Khan also has history with Anthony Joshua. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Amir Khan's own wife smashed or got smashed by Anthony Joshua. So, you know, these things might play a part as to why Amir Khan is bitter towards Anthony Joshua. Now let's all talk about this whole idea that Anthony Joshua is afraid of Deontay Wilder, because Amir Khan thinks like LDBC members think, or like anyone who's like anti Anthony Joshua thinks. Everyone who is a big Deontay Wilder fans, you know, fanboys, seem to think that Anthony Joshua is the reason why Anthony Joshua versus Wilder is not happening. He's the reason. He's the reason. He's the reason. They're not looking at Deontay Wilder's history. You know, if you look at the history of both Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, the only guy who has a history of not wanting to fight the best guys in their division is Deontay Wilder. I could remember as far back as 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, people saying that, begging Deontay Wilder to fight Vladimir Klitschko, who at the time was the #1 heavyweight. Why didn't Deontay Wilder fight Vladimir Klitschko during that era? During 2012 to 2015, during those 3 years, that was the fight everybody wanted to see. And if you go back to that period of time, you know what the excuse was for Deontay Wilder as to why he shouldn't fight Vladimir Klitschko? It was he was too green. You know, he doesn't have experience yet. I remember his own team members saying this on interviews. They would ask him about when is he going to fight Vladimir Klitschko to challenge him for the world titles, and they would say he was too green. He, by the way, had over 25 fights, but he was too green. So they were going to put him there against guys like Johan Duhaupas, guys like Nikolai Furfa, to prepare him for Vladimir Klitschko. The truth was they were ducking Vladimir Klitschko because they knew Deontay Wilder had a really high chance of losing against him, and they didn't want to ruin that. They wanted him to stay undefeated, because at the time he was getting a lot of hype, Wilder, because this was like the first time people were really talking about Wilder. Now let's just compare that to someone like again, and if you look at Deontay Wilder, it took Deontay Wilder nearly a decade for him to fight somebody who people actually believe was a top heavyweight. Deontay Wilder's best 2 victories in his entire fight, or his best 2 guys he's fought in his entire resume, is Luis King Kong Ortiz and Tyson Fury. Now I want you guys to think about that. He fought Luis Ortiz and Tyson Fury in his last 2 fights. Isn't that a damn shame? In his last 2 fights, he fought Tyson Fury in his last fight, and prior to that he fought Luis Ortiz. So this man has 40 plus fights. This man turned pro in 2008. It's 2018, baby. So you mean to tell me in 10 years the 2 best guys, you just fought the 2 best guys you've ever fought in 10 years? That's crazy. That's sad, and that's pathetic. Now let's just compare that to Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua turned pro just 5 years ago. And within 4 years, he was in there with Vladimir Klitschko, a guy that Deontay Wilder ducked for 3 years, a guy that Deontay Wilder never fought. Within 5 years as a professional, Anthony Joshua has fought Vladimir Klitschko. He's fought other champions. He's fought guys like Alexander Povetkin, Joseph Parker. He's fought guys and he's unified with guys. Alright? And this guy has less than 25 fights. And he's been a pro for less than just over 5 years now. Yet someone like Wilder ducked Vladimir Klitschko when people were begging him. And mind you, Anthony Joshua fought Vladimir Klitschko when he had 19 professional fights. When people were begging Deontay Wilder to fight Vladimir Klitschko back in 2013, you know how many fights Deontay Wilder had at that period of time? 27 pro fights. So he had nearly 10 fights more than Anthony Joshua had when he fought him. Yeah, they were saying he was too green. Oh, but Deontay Wilder's too green. He's only been a pro for 5 years. He's only had 27 fights. He's only knocked out every single fighter he's fought. But he's too green. He's not prepared for Vladimir Klitschko. Why didn't they say that with Anthony Joshua? Why? Because Anthony Joshua wasn't a bitch. He wasn't a coward. He accepted the challenge and he took the fight with Vladimir Klitschko, despite the fact that he probably felt that he maybe wasn't ready for Vladimir Klitschko. But he still fought him, right? The same thing goes for you see what I'm saying? So who's the real coward is the question, you know? And I think the answer is Mr. Deontay Wilder, Mr. Amir Khan. So again, maybe you should look yourself in the mirror, and instead of calling somebody else a coward, why don't you look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, why did I duck Kell Brook for 7 years? Why did I duck this man for 7 years? Could it be that you felt you couldn't beat him? Just a wild guess. Anyway, guys, I'm out. If you enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button and thumbs up the video. I'm out. Thanks for watching.